So now we will move to the county supervisors race, and we're going to begin with District 1 and Mr. Jerry Fucillo, please.
Hi, my name is Jerry Fucillo. They used to call me Fuch in high school. You get the pronunciation of my name. I'm running for supervisor for District 1 in Tuolumne County. I've been in Tuolumne County since 1970, 46 years. I'm a veteran. I entered the U.S. Navy in 1966. I had a Bachelor of Engineering degree, so they put me into the Navy Seabees. And I served for 3 years with the amphibious construction battalions on it. When I was due to get out of the Navy, I wanted to come to California. I was hired by major nationwide construction contractor, Pete Hewitt Sons, and lo and behold, I wind up on the Tuolumne River Bridge, the curved bridge going to Groveland. That's how I came to Tuolumne County in 1970. When the bridge was finished, I loved this area. I then went with a local paving grading contractor, George Reed Company, and then for 3 years we did. I worked for them on roads and paving. I was licensed as a civil engineer in the state of California in '72. So in 1974, I went professional. I went with a local civil engineering and surveying firm here in Sonora. Worked for 4 years. Then I established my own firm, which is in Sonora, always on Bradford Avenue. My firm's name is GJF Engineering. It's just my initials. And I'm in the practice of civil engineering. In '79, the position for the city engineer as a contract position became open, and I applied, and I was appointed as the contract city engineer for the city of Sonora in '79, and I served some 36 years to 2015. This last June, I basically retired from the city. Although until I get another city engineer, they're still calling me back. Okay, I've been a business owner in Sonora. I'm a member of the Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau for the last 22 years, and I have served 10 years on their board of directors. I've got a brochure here. You can pick it up as you leave or any time. It details my background. Center of it is my project resume from 1970 to 2015. You'll find a lot of projects on it that you may find familiar, like the Tuolumne Swimming Pool in 1976, to my last project for the city was the Monterey widening project. I also worked on this building. I was the project manager for the renovation of this building, 1991 to 93, and then when they added the kitchen addition in 2003. You ought to go up on the roof of this building and see the trusses. My campaign slogan is "Let's fix the local roads." What I've seen over the years is that the cost of construction maintenance has gone sky high. The money that comes out of roads and gas taxes is now being reduced, and it's actually being diverted for other uses. In the big cities, what they're using the gas tax money for and other funding that comes out of roads is to advance the public transportation. They're trying to get you out of a car, walk to work on a bicycle, walk to go shopping. That works in the big cities. But in a rural area, we need to be able to use the individual car, and we need better roads. This is a tourist area. We need to increase the use of individual cars up in this area, attract tourists for the economy. We have a lot of older population, and my basic thing is, okay, let's use the money that comes out of roads back into roads.
Any questions?
Do you have any plans for bicycle paths as far as the road construction, things like that? A lot of cyclists around. And to ride out here is not a very big deal. So in your development roads, you plan to put bicycle lanes.
Yes, all the roads, if you build a new road today, you're going to find that the requirements are going to be to provide shoulder areas for the bicycles.
Any other questions?
Why did you oppose the beer garden expansion? Beer garden? Why did you oppose that?
I did oppose the beer garden initially because at the urging of my neighbors, because of noise. We did resolve it. It held them up one meeting, and then we did in talking to the developer and with my neighbors. We did resolve the noise issue. He did make some slight modifications to the plan, and the project was approved by the Planning Commission.
Any other questions?
Climate change affects us locally and globally. What actions are you willing to take to invest in renewables, and are you willing to take other steps to address climate change?
As a supervisor, my powers are probably limited. I would like to see for the reduction of greenhouse gases would be a lot smoother roads, less congestion in locations where you have a backup at a stoplight, and I think that is the most efficient way to address greenhouse gases from vehicles in this county.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Mr. Pacello, thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Chuck Keel.
Thanks, Sean. The Tuolumne County Farm Bureau. I'm Chuck Keel, 20-year resident of Tuolumne County. I'm running for Supervisor District 1. I worked on the Alaska Marine Highway for 20 years and retired from that job. And I acquired a bachelor's degree and teaching credential from the University of Alaska before moving here with my wife and 4 children. My wife and I purchased and then sold the Rock Restaurant in Twainhart. And everybody likes the Rock. Everybody loves the Rock. My wife and I also purchased and still have Luke Court Independent Living, a group home. We house seniors and people with disabilities. And we still have 10 residents, happy residents today. That's on Luke Court. If anybody knows, it's off Kawazu. really fills a niche in this town. There's not too many places that house seniors like that. They either, a lot of seniors, they're living at home and they can't cook for themselves, or they go to long-term care. And we're right in between there. We don't provide care, but a good, safe place to live. I'm running for, I'm currently a real estate broker at Keller Williams, downtown Sonora. I've sold real estate for 17 years now. I'm running for supervisor because I want to help fix the pressing issues in this county, which include, for me, mental health. Every day you read about workplace and school violence. We should reestablish a psychiatric unit to help citizens when in a crisis situation, especially when their medication fails and they need a safe, locked place to get back on track. Sonora Community Hospital is just not really prepared or equipped to handle this issue right now. Number two, build more diverse housing with higher density within the Jamestown, Sonora, and Columbia area. Wildfire containment would be easier and more efficient while keeping greenhouse gas emissions within legal limits, a key component of the regional blueprint. The county and city should provide fair incentive guidelines to developers so they will build the needed multi-density housing. Keep growth sustainable and make it common sense. Number three, help to solve the biomass industry, help to save the biomass industry. We need the state to subsidize that industry in order to enable us to manage our forests in a more efficient manner. What if Tuolumne County bought the ultramass plant in Jamestown, thinning the forest and sending trees to a public, nonprofit ultramass plant would be an incredible boon for our economy. This will create good-paying forestry jobs and produce energy while saving our forests. And number four, we need to deal with the homeless and transient issue that others were talking about tonight. Our downtown merchants and residents are very upset and claim that the homeless problem is bad for business, and residents also feel threatened. I'm in favor of exploring the option of a homeless tent shelter on county property, giving the homeless and transient population a temporary residence in order to obtain social services, food bank services, and an address for job applications. And finally, we need to encourage public input in all aspects of the planning process for new growth. Dollar General was an issue which it expended many hours of county and citizen involvement. We can possibly avoid these man hours in the future by having more town hall meetings before and during the process. County residents seem to rise to the occasion when development issues threaten their way of life and their rural environment.
Anyone have questions?
Uh-oh.
Thank you. Mr. Keel, you mentioned the higher density housing and the long-term care type facilities. Those places, your fire, EMS, and law enforcement spend an inordinate amount of time at those facilities. Do you support impact fees for those type of developments? Do you support fire, EMS, and law enforcement?
What was the last part of your question?
Do you support impact fees to help fire, EMS, and law enforcement and a more inordinate amount of time is spent at those facilities?
So these places you're talking about that the police and fire are spending an inordinate amount of time there?
what kind of those type of facilities, or whether it's
Such as,
EMS, false fire alarms, EMS type calls, law enforcement type issues. There's a lot of that our time is spent at those type of facilities.
okay. Well, I really don't know about the long-term care, because we do have people that go to the hospital. They're elderly. And that's just what happens. We have 10 people, and occasionally they do fall. But they come, they ask them if they wanted to go to the hospital, and sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. But that is a free service by the fire department, is to come and ask and take their vitals. And so, yes, by all means, I would support any money that could go towards that. But frankly, I don't see that too much in our facility.
Since we have a county that's impacted by federal lands, what's your position on coordination with federal agencies?
Well, this whole biomass thing is a huge potential for our county. It could create really good jobs, long-lasting jobs, and that money that came from the federal government for our biomass industry, hopefully we could use some of that money to buy that plant in Jamestown. So yes, we need to work with the federal government and the state to work out this issue. We need that subsidy for the biomass industry. So if we have to go and beg the state of California, which is a progressive, it's a progressive state, and I call myself a progressive.
We have.
So I will work with the state and the federal government in all respects.
Mr. Keel, thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask Supervisor Sherry Brennan to come to the stage, please.
Good evening. I want to thank the Farm Bureau for hosting us tonight, and I especially want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to come and listen to us here tonight. I had some prepared remarks, and they really focused around what I have done for job creation and what the county has been doing proactively to work on trying to get our fair share of road money back to this county. But quite honestly, I don't think any of us standing up here are going to say, gosh, I'm not for more jobs, or I don't want better roads in Tuolumne County. And so if we have specific questions about those policies afterwards, I'd be more than happy to answer what I've done in the last 4 years. Instead, I want to talk about the 3 unprecedented declarations of emergency that we've had in Tuolumne County, because they've had a tremendous impact. They've taken tremendous resources to deal with. And you have a current board that has been actively engaged in trying to find answers. First, I'm going to say, when we look for those answers, we're working with the state government where we have to be able to reach across the aisle. We have to talk to those that philosophically believe with us and those that don't, if we want to find broad support for the things that are going to help our rural counties. And I can say that I have actively been engaged in that, working most recently on the Governor's Task Force for Tree Mortality. We have an unprecedented danger facing Tuolumne County, actually Tuolumne County South. And sir, I hope you ask me the question about renewable energy afterwards, because I'd like to address that. But we're looking at some estimates as high as 50 million dead trees, losing 2/3 of our mixed conifer forest. And again, there can be debate over talking about the density of our national forests, the competition for nutrients and water, and what those impacts have been to the mortality loss. We can talk about the current drought situation, but at the end of the day, what does that do for Tuolumne County? It puts us all at risk. The increased danger from catastrophic wildfire has the potential to be catastrophic. We witnessed that with our first national disaster, which was the Rim Fire. Had dramatic, horrible consequences for Tuolumne County. We're looking at a repeat of a fire that fuel specialists tell me they cannot predict models for under the right conditions with the dead material that's out on our landscape. So, Tuolumne County was a leader in getting the state declaration. Supervisor Hanfeld and I worked tirelessly on that effort, and actually, as a result of that, we were both appointed to the governor's task force very early on. Tuolumne County's plan has been duplicated in all of the other counties that are facing this same disaster because we were the first to get it implemented. Tuolumne County hired individuals that looked for a proactive approach because still meeting that 25% match, as we don't have a federal declaration, is daunting. We don't have the dollars to do that. So we had to find a proactive approach, bringing all entities together. Everyone that was facing this challenge, CAL FIRE, PG&E, public utilities, the county, and find solutions and opportunities to get as much of this vegetation as we can off of the landscape. Again, we've been a leader in this effort. And to be in this position, we have to show leadership. We have to work across with anyone who is interested in finding solutions. And that is what I have been committed to doing for the last, my time is almost up, I'm sorry, for the last 4 years, and I will continue to commit to doing for the next 4 years. People ask me, why do I want to run again? It's because I started a job and I have more work to do. So with that, I will entertain some questions.
We're very fortunate that we have a board of supervisors that spend time in Sacramento and down in Washington. And Sherry was just invited to come down to Washington. She just got back because of her experience with the cows and the cattle and the forest. And I'd like you, Sherry, just tell us what happened in Washington.
Sure. So the conversation was really about coordination and how do we improve coordination between local governments and state agencies. Again, a really important piece. People want to mix coordination and communication. And I'm going to suggest that communication has actually gotten better in Tuolumne County with our public agencies partners. But we really want to look at coordination, and that means an opportunity where we really consider what is the interest as articulated by the elected representatives, those that are, have been elected to represent a locality like Tuolumne County, and talk about what is specific to them. Again, that would go to job creation, that would go to air quality, it would go to water availability, all of the important issues that can be connected to projects that originate from federal lands. And that would be all of them, BLM and U.S. Forest Service predominantly in this county.
Are there any other questions?
Sherry, I'm connected through my many years in government with officials in Sacramento, both Republicans and Democrats. And I had one tell me recently that, and he's a part of the Democratic administration, that the experience that they have in Sacramento with boards and supervisors throughout the state of California is considerable, and that he considers our current board of supervisors to be one of the most effective and one of the best boards that they've ever dealt with. Can you tell me why you think that is?
Quite honestly, because an awful lot of time is spent engaging and looking for solutions, and I'm going to thank you for that question. Honestly, folks, that was not a setup question. But we currently have a board that is really recognized, especially for a rural county, as a leader in the state of California. We are asked to do presentations for both of the organizations that represent us, which would be RCRC, Regional Council of Rural Counties, and CSAC, California State Association of Counties. Those boards often will look to Tuolumne County to do presentations at the state level because they know we're working across the aisle with everyone in Sacramento looking for answers. Thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor Brennan. And what she wanted to say is that Supervisor Hanbelt just goes to Sacramento and talks and talks and talks. So they listen to Tuolumne County because they eventually want them to go home because they want to go home as well. But we'll go ahead and move on to the District 4 race. And so if Don Matter would please come to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Farm Bureau, and thank you for all for being here. I enjoy doing things like this and meeting out with the people. I'm a people person and love to get involved. That's one of the reasons I running. I'm a general contractor and business owner. I have 6 children, ages 8 to 27. So I have a lot of experience with that. I've been married to my wife of 28 years. As a general contractor, I've built everything from a fence to a Walmart. I have been a resident of this area since 2002. I live over in Groveland, and when I first moved up here, Groveland was showing a boom. There was over 100 homes being built. Last year, there's only 3 homes being built. Most of that's due to the economy, but a lot of those things are due to the new regulations that our different departments have come up with. I am one that is for less government and more people doing what they need to do to make their jobs and their businesses run without too much interference from the government and keeping us from getting our jobs done. We want a government that helps us, not hurts us. One of the things I've learned as a working superintendent is to work hand in hand with people that I'm actually in charge of, but also working side by side with. It's very complicated at times because it's hard to yell at somebody that you're working side by side with. But that always, I know that a lot of people talk tonight about the global warming and different things, but one of the issues that we're really facing too is our law enforcement and our crime, the things that are happening in our community. And one of the things that is driving that force is the lack of morality and the lack of religion in our communities. If we lose our morality, our religion, and the things that keep us from self-governing, then democracy fails and global warming will be a separate issue. I'm really for trying to reach out to our churches and reach out across the table to others and try to rebuild our family structures, our morality, and those issues that are faced. One of the things that I jumped into the race about was I saw the needs of this community in the family structures and such when my wife and I have decided to become foster parents as well, because there's a great need in this area because the family structure is being threatened. So I'd like to see different programs, one of which is ISIS, be expanded to people outside of the foster care program. This is a really great program that helps kids become better parents, get off drugs, get job education and such. Another issue is drawing in businesses from other areas. I've worked all over the California and other states as a builder and superintendent. I have different connections all over and would like to see us do different types of businesses. One of the things I've come up with and I'm trying to work with is, because of our tree mortality issue and other things, is try to get a UC Davis extension up here to have a school over in the Groveland area. But these are some of the ideas that I'm trying to come up with and reach out.
Are there any questions?
Dollar General, when was interested in Groveland.
What's that?
Dollar General
Yeah.
was interested in Groveland at one point. How do you feel about a Dollar General in Groveland?
I don't feel very good about a Dollar General in Groveland.
Is that something you're still proposing?
What's that?
Is Dollar General still proposing?
At the time, I think they still are, but I'm opposed to that for a couple reasons. One is because I think that that's the wrong kind of thing to put in one of the things about our community that makes it what it is that we aren't like every other town in USA. We're a little bit different. We have different needs. We like our charm, our culture. And I think if we put Dollar Generals in every corner, we're going to lose that.
Well, you just let us know here in Sonora and we'll come support you against Dollar General.
Can you point out some of the major projects you or your particular company have completed here in Tuolumne County?
Major projects in Tuolumne County? I've done a lot of homes over in Groveland and in that area. As far as in Tuolumne County, I haven't done anything other than custom homes. But in other areas, I've built restaurants in San Francisco. I've built Caldwell Banker office in Palo Alto. I did one in Woodside, the only commercial building in Woodside at the time. One of the interesting parts about that is I had to close down the power to Woodside. Talk about trying to keep friends. That wasn't easy. But we made that through. We had to, like I said, we had to shut down the power in all of Woodside so we could put in a sub-transformer in the ground. But I made friends as a result of it.
Any other questions?
Your campaign materials indicate that your sole source of income is Jordan Construction. You seem to operate a Bakel Painting and Construction. Can you tell us if there's a relationship between the two and why you didn't list Bakel Construction as a source of income? Thank you.
Well, Jordan Construction is actually my company name. It's just a fictitious business name. Is it supporting I'm the only person supporting my campaign. I've had donations of about $700 from outside sources. Thank you.
Mr. Matter, thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite Supervisor Gray to the stage, please.
First of all, I want to thank you, the Farm Bureau, for having this event tonight, and obviously thank all of you for coming. The Giants game has already started, so we're going to hope you have it recorded. Testing? Okay. I'm going to pick a fight, but not with my opponent, okay? There was a gentleman that was running for one of the congressional offices that spoke up about signs. I can't remember his name, and if he would have a sign over here, I would know who to vote for. So, but just to be clear, this is a sign. Nobody buys me. This is my sign, and I will do the best I can do for Tuolumne County. A little bit about myself. I'm a fourth generation Tuolumne County native. I've lived and worked here in Tuolumne County almost all my life. I've raised my family here. I've managed a multi-million-dollar corporation. I've run my own business. I have a community service background. I served as a Southern Tuolumne County Planning Commissioner for 7 years. I was on the Groveland Community Service District Board of Directors, and also on the Cemetery Board for Groveland. I think that type of experience will show you that I am a public service person. I didn't realize that until I got this job as supervisor. I took it because I thought I could really make a difference, and I believe I have. I'm going to have about maybe 3 minutes at the end because I want to read something that I wrote in 2007 when I first decided to run for office. Supervisor Brennan mentioned that the need to reach across the aisle and work with people, and that is very important. I think that's really one of my strengths. I've been able to work with all aspects of the community, other government officials. I can't say that we always agree, but we do agree to get along, and we have, I believe, as a Board of Supervisors, done a tremendous job. It's interesting. When I took this office in 2008, I was looking at the downturn of the economy as just kind of a blip, because in April of that year, it looked like we're going to have bad economy. We had the worst economy. But I think during my term and during and this last 8 years, I think we've proven that we're able to survive as a county, and we've done well. We have had major projects that have been completed in this county and will be completed. You know, this board of supervisors and previous boards of supervisors that I've worked with, I believe all understood how important it is to be able to work together. We have brought millions of dollars into this county in grant funding and projects. With the new jail, with the NDRC grant, with the juvenile detention grant, you're going to see a couple $100 million that will be spent here. Those are jobs. Those are jobs for people. Those are jobs that are good paying jobs. Along with that, all Board of Supervisors sat on numerous different committees. I sat on 2 JPAs, one, the Tuolumne County Economic Development Authority, and the other, the Tuolumne County Transportation Commission. All very important committees, or both of them very important committees. I believe that the Farm Bureau uses a program now that is called, I believe, product to consumer. It's kind of like speed dating in a sense, where the product producer sits in a room with the consumer, and they're able to talk and be able to promote their products and sold locally. That came out of the Economic Development Authority. With TCTC, it's been a part of bringing about $291 million of funds into this county for road and infrastructure projects. I've been on that board, I believe, about 7 years now. That's where a lot of the projects that you see that are done in this county are managed. Without that TCTC group, those funds would be in danger of going to other places. So how much time do I have left?
None now. I was looking for a card. I didn't see it. But more importantly, I'm here to serve. I enjoy the job. I find it very humbling. And if you feel free to please vote for me. Yes.
Could we hear what you wrote in 2007? That's my question.
All right. My promise to you is to make county government open, honest, and accountable. I'm a fourth-generation Tuolumne County native and spent nearly my entire life living and working in the 4th District. I have over 30 years of operations management experience, raised a family, and run a small business in our county. As your supervisor, I will establish professional relationships with fellow board members and county staff. I will work full-time to develop goals and policies that benefit the taxpayer and improve the way in which the county serves the public. I will set priorities to increase the efficiency of county departments so that once again, we can fund road maintenance and public safety agencies adequately. I'm committed to restoring the public's trust to how our tax dollars are spent. I will work to promote economic growth and preserve the principles of personal property rights while striving to protect the rural character of the beautiful area in which we live. I will listen to all points of view and make decisions based on established facts, keeping in mind the welfare of all residents of the 4th District. That was my pledge. It's my pledge today. Thank you.
You mentioned grant money for a lot of projects. Where does that grant money come from?
Obviously, it comes all from the taxpayers. It's money that we pay through our taxes. Tuolumne County receives about 25% on the dollar of all taxes collected within this county. The rest goes back to the state, federal government, and is distributed. We have a $48 million discretionary budget. And that's money that we can spend on things like law enforcement, the district attorney, taxpayer, tax collector's office. So when the grant money comes back to us, it comes back in forms like with the jail, from the state. We have to apply for those grants. And I got to say that Supervisor Rutherford was on our team for securing grants for the jail, and that team did an excellent job. When I was running for office, our jail was going to cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $82 million. That was way too much money, and I really spoke strongly against it. Now we have one that's going to roughly be about $48 million. But that money, most of that is coming from the state of California, but from the taxpayer.
So basically, we just have to put a really good argument forward to get our money back.
We have to be aggressive. We have to go after what's there, because if we don't get it, somebody else will.
Thank you, Supervisor Gray. Now I'd like to invite Sarah Shire to the stage, who's running for supervisor in District 5.
Good evening. If you're anything like my college students, you're getting a bit restless, so I'll try to keep this to the point. Thank you for coming out this evening. I really appreciate you taking your evening to come and listen to us speak. My name's Sarah Shire, and I'm a graduate of Sonora High School. And after studying at Columbia College, I left to further my education. Once I earned a master's degree from CSU Stanislaus, I was able to work overseas, creating curriculum and evaluating English language programs. During this time, I had a desire to return to District 5 to give back to the community that fostered my development. When I returned home to teach at Columbia College, I discovered an increasing disconnect between the local representation and the desires of the community members, which were expressed to me by community members. So far, the process of running for District 5 Supervisor has allowed me to connect with even more community members, which is why this evening I would like to discuss an issue at the hearts of many of Tuolumne County families. The young adults of Tuolumne County are leaving in search of better jobs. But I believe the children of Tuolumne County have a right to the opportunity to carry on their family legacy. Tuolumne County's representation must respect and protect land, water, and local business to ensure Tuolumne County can be prosperous into the future. Our land is our identity. Development has to contribute to our identity to make sure that our community is attractive. Rural ambiance is essential to our community's identity and prosperity. The general plan should be guiding land use to contribute to the families of Tuolumne County, instead of betraying our principles to out-of-state corporations. Furthermore, rural lands cannot be used without water. I see three aspects that need to be considered when looking at water. The first one is quality. Is the water that we're drinking and consuming safe for us? The second is quantity. Is there enough water to go around? And thirdly, and most importantly, allocation. How will the water be distributed for agriculture, recreation, domestic, and industrial use? Water allocated for agriculture must be protected to ensure that farmers and ranchers of today and tomorrow can afford to grow. My final point is the necessity to protect local business. Without local business, young adults are forced to leave the county in search of livable wage jobs. I found myself in this predicament, and that's what brings me here tonight. Young adults have a right to remain in the community that they grew up in. It's time we stop forcing out our future and work together to create a vibrant community. Now, I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I have all the answers, because I don't. But I am a researcher, I am mindful, and I'm an active listener. And it's with those attributes that I would like to listen to my community to create a synthesis of solutions that will work for us today and into the future. Thank you, and thank you for voting on June 7th.
Are there any questions? One of the things that I would think would be very important is education to provide the needed training for jobs, good jobs in the community. Do you have a plan or an idea of what you would do to enhance that here?
That's a great question. The education aspects are usually considered by the school board. However, as an educator myself, education is very important to me and close to my heart. So I feel like we need, through the college, through the K-12 system, ready funded programs that students can utilize in order to put them on a track which will enable them to get better jobs in the future.
You alluded to the general plan being controlled by out-of-state corporations. Give an example of that. I don't know what that means.
Okay, I think what you are referring to is my description of currently there's some issues, and I feel that a lot of community members speak to this, that there is an increase in proposals for out-of-state corporations coming in, such as Dollar General. So my point in speaking about that is that we need jobs that are livable wages, that people want to work at, that are going to provide families with the necessities to stay here and remain here.
It seems to me that you're very pro everything that's the heart of all of us, but it's a very broad spectrum of interests and support and desires. It seems to me it has to be much broader than the County Board of Supervisors can handle. Have you been following your agenda items and attending the meetings so that as a new prospective incumbent, you are prepared to enter this business concept that they have, which is only so much of what you want to do?
Right, that's an excellent, very important question. So as an instructor, I've been teaching in the evenings, which makes it sometimes difficult to attend meetings, having a schedule classes to teach. So what I do is I watch them online, and I know that's a little bit of a cop-out, but that's the reality of the situation I'm in right now. So yes, I have been following the Board of Supervisors meetings via online, and I've been reading up the newspaper constantly. So I am a researcher. I do a lot of reading.
Yes, one of the things you just mentioned was how important ag water was, agricultural water, and water in general to the community. What kind of solution do you have in the recent rate hike that PG just passed on, not only to domestic customers, but to the agricultural community that we're now going to have to try to deal with?
That is a big issue. If we don't have water, we don't have food, and that is a problem. My solution, my idea that I propose, because ideally I would like to listen to what everyone feels is the best approach, but that's not always the best solution. So I intend to look at communities that have followed through with these sorts of situations and come out ahead, come out with the community members being the most happy with the solutions and being able to continue what they're doing into the future.
Ms. Shire, thank you very much. I'd like to invite Supervisor Roderfer.
Good evening, everyone. I also want to thank the Farm Bureau for hosting this. It's been a great event. I'd like to thank you all for coming, but more importantly, since I'm the last speaker, I'd like to thank you all for staying. I'm sure there's a Giants game going on. I am your District 5 supervisor. I'm Carl Roderfer, and I'm running for re-election, and I ask for your vote. 4 years ago, you elected me because you believed I was your best choice. I promised then to be your full-time supervisor, and I have kept that promise. I have represented you in the halls of the legislatures and in the offices of the executives at the local, state, and federal level. Early on, we came together around our state parks and our fairgrounds. With unprecedented community and county support, we saved both Railtown 1897 and our fairgrounds from closure. Together, we have endured 3 states of emergency in the last 3 years. 2 of those are still ongoing, and the recovery from the 3rd is also still ongoing. With leadership, vision, and action, we pulled together and survived the rim fire and set out on the path to recovery and restoration. Our governor recognized that Tuolumne County led the way in resilience efforts, and that resulted in a National Resiliency Grant Award of $70 million. During the drought, with leadership, vision, and action, Tuolumne County led the way in both water conservation and the state's dry well program, ensuring our citizens who lost their wells could remain in their homes. And today, online on YouTube, there's a video about our dry well program and the fact that it is one of CSAC's, that's the California State Association of Counties, award winners this year. As soon as our pervasive tree mortality emergency began, your county government, with leadership, vision, and action, led Foothill counties in defining and shaping the state's emergency response program. You've heard already the good work that we've been doing, working with the governor's office again. We continue to lead the effort to gain national disaster relief funding, which will get our money to spread farther, as well as the state's money. While helping manage these emergencies, I was leading the 2 separate grant proposal efforts to secure a total of $33 million in funding to proceed with our county jail construction effort to replace the worst jail in the state of California. We also will receive an additional $65 million to build a new county courthouse. These 2 projects will join our $18 million juvenile detention facility in the new Law and Justice Center. I continue to advocate for our 4 heritage industries: agriculture, forestry, mining, and tourism. Our true wealth as a community depends largely on continued stewardship and enhancement of these industries. I have led the way in advocating for sensible solutions to our current access to water and to diversify our county's water portfolio. During my supervision, the county has worked effectively with the Jamestown community to complete the Walk of Fame project, continue to implement improvement projects to Roca Park, to install underground utilities and street lighting. In Columbia, I am currently working with community leaders to improve our Columbia Community Plan, both in conjunction with the general plan update, as well as to define additional subsequent land use planning needs to fully address our community concerns. I have continued to strongly advocate for economic expansion, especially in areas that will benefit our 2 growing and underserved demographics, seniors and our young technical and professional workforce. Tuolumne County is a wonderful and unique place to live and visit, work and play. 4 years ago, I promised innovative solutions to our most difficult challenges. I have done my best to keep that promise to improve our way of life. I continue to be your best choice for District 5 Supervisor, and I ask you to re-elect me in June. I will provide you with proven leadership, clear vision, and decisive action to the challenges that lie ahead of us. Together, we can continue to get it done in Tuolumne County. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you have any questions?
I'm going to ask Supervisor a similar question. One of the remarks earlier was how nice the workers looks on the weekends and how active they are. And I believe part of that is because they have a very good lighting district over there and contributes to their recreation and the people that show up there. And I'll go back to my question. In the recent year, TUD just jacked our water rates 256% over the next 5 years for ag water. How are we going to survive, and what does the supervisor propose to do about it?
Well, I can tell you that that's a question better addressed to the TUD board, but I believe that I've said it a million times from the dais as a supervisor, and I'll say it again here. Anybody that doesn't like our ag industry or isn't willing to fight to keep our ag industry healthy, wealthy, and wise doesn't like the drive from Oakdale to Sonora. Those wonderful wide open spaces, those wonderful oak woodlands are there largely, if not solely, because of a thriving cattle industry. There are numerous studies that have been done that cattle grazing is the greatest contributor to wonderful oak woodland vistas. So we will work with TUD, we will advocate on behalf of our entire ag community. I'm a Farm Bureau member, okay? I'm with you. But again, I have to also respect jurisdictional boundaries, and that I would recommend you ask that question at the TUD board. And I'm sorry I can't help you any more than that.
We have a question in the back.
You mentioned the $70 million that's coming in. Can you tell us where that's going?
One of it, a large measure of it is going to go to a community, combination community and a disaster center. And then there's several other projects that are of less monetary value, but most of the money is going to that one project. And I don't believe the decision has been made yet whether that's going to Groveland or to Tuolumne.
You spoke of vision earlier, and you said that you were involved in the state recommendations and got money from the state level. I'd like to ask, I was at all of the Columbia Dollar General meetings, and I think I only saw you over there one time. So my question is, since that's your district, why weren't you present at those meetings to listen to what your community had to say, because they turned out and numerous people? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually, and I'd love to clear the air on that. I made a mistake early on. I was in a meeting where a petition opposing the Dollar General was being circulated. It came by me, and I did not sign it. I passed it on, and subsequently another piece of paper came around, and I did not recognize it as a continuation sheet for that petition, and I mistakenly signed it thinking it was an attendance sheet. Once that got turned in and became part of the public record, one of the responsibilities that we have as a supervisor, especially in a public hearing context, is to preserve the due process rights of both sides of a discussion item. And I was advised by the county council that I would need to immediately recuse myself from all activities associated with the Dollar General. That was the toughest thing I've ever had to do. I am a decision maker. I love to make decisions. I want to be part of the action. But unfortunately, in that case, I was removed for legal reasons from the process at the recommendation of the county council. And I apologize to my constituents for not being able to be there. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rodefer. That concludes the candidate portion of our events tonight. So now it's my turn to speak just briefly while I still have you all sitting down. I'd like to give all the candidates a round of applause and thank them for their attendance coming tonight, as well as all of our audience. We are truly blessed to live in a land where we get to choose our representatives and to meet freely and openly like this, to hear them and ask these questions. And sometimes I think we all take that a little bit for granted, and we just need to remember that as we go forward in life. And also, if you've never stood up here at a podium or had a microphone in front of you, it can be a very intimidating thing to do. And I want to thank the incumbents for their service and their challengers for being willing to take on these positions and to put themselves out there to represent people and get up here and speak, because it's not an easy thing to do. And so I commend all of you for that. My most important statement of the night is to thank Terry Arrington for providing the wonderful treats in the back, as she does for many of our functions. And so lastly, before you get up to mingle, if you're not registered to vote, we do have voter registration forms in the back that you can pick up. If you're not a Farm Bureau member, shame on you. You should be. Sorry, I have a microphone, so I have to do that. Is that my mic drop in the back with the sign? Farm Bureau, we're about advocacy, and that's what we do. We represent our members, and that turns out to be everybody who is affected by agriculture, as you all are. You ate something today, you drank water, you put on clothes. A farmer or a rancher contributed to your life today. And that's why Farm Bureau is here, to make sure they can keep doing that again tomorrow. We have a lot of resources in this county, whether it's the forest, with timber, timber and grazing, or these wide open spaces that Carl mentioned. Everybody loves to drive through them. Well, we want to make sure our producers can afford to keep those that way and maintain their operations. And that's what Farm Bureau does, and that's why I need your support and I need your members. We do these events as public service outreaches. This is on our dime, not coming from anyone else. We're member driven, and that's who's paying for this tonight, to provide these forums, and we want to keep doing it in the future. So if you have any questions for the candidates, I'd like to invite you to mingle with them for a while. Any questions about Farm Bureau? We have our booth there in the back. And if you stay too long, though, I will make you put away chairs with us. So thank you very much, and have a good night.